All right, we're here at the Morris Area High School, and we got 3 more days or so before the big Curtains musical. And my name is Sal Montagudu, and this is Joe, how do you pronounce it?
Ferrero.
Ferrero, okay, Italian, right?
Right, very Italian.
Cool.
Yeah.
And we're just going to get to know Joe a little bit and help promote the upcoming musical. And Joe, I guess there's a lot of questions I would like to ask. And if you guys have any questions below, feel free to comment below the video, and you can ask your own questions later. But Joe, I guess the first question is, when did you first come to Morris?
Oh gosh, this is my 6th year in Morris. So basically on school years, my 6th school year.
Oh wow.
Morris, yeah.
So what made you come to Morris? First of all, where are you from?
I'm from New Jersey, just outside of New York City, so right by Manhattan.
Okay.
That's where I lived.
So what made you come to Morris?
My mom moved to Wheaton, Minnesota about 10 or so years ago, and so just visiting her every year. Then one year came out for Easter to surprise her, and there happened to be 2 principal openings, and I had been wanting to go from an assistant principal to a principal, so I happened to apply for both of them in that same week, interviewed twice for both jobs, and was offered both jobs in that week.
Oh,
so I
wow.
wound up choosing, it was an offer here in Morris and an offer in Fergus Falls, so I wound up choosing the Morris.
Well, we're glad to have you in Morris because you've been an awesome blessing to our town, because the musical or the theater production you brought has been really quality. And I'm not trying to be biased. I guess the plays have been really awesome. I started going to theater back in college, and because my roommate in college was a theater person, so
yeah.
I had no interest in theater until I went to college at the University of Minnesota Morris, and I've been in love with theater ever since.
Oh, great.
Especially musicals.
Yeah.
So, and this is going to be a musical, Curtains.
Yeah, it's a musical about a musical.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of a unique show for us because, first of all, it's not that widely known. It was on Broadway and nominated for some Tonys, and David Hyde Pierce was the lead character in the Broadway production. But I've been wanting to do this show for a long time because, one, there's a ton of parts in it, and I love to give as many kids as I can the chance to shine. So this musical allows for that, and I like it because it's about theater. So even the kids in it learn about theater because of all the theater terms we're using the entire time, and it also educates the audience about what goes into actually putting on a show, because you'll see them putting on a show during the show.
Wow. And I read a little background. It's based in 1969?
Yeah, it's based in the end of the 50s into the 60s
Okay.
is when it takes place, and you'll see that we don't refer to the year at all, but you'll notice that it is definitely a while ago, no cell phones, older looking guns and props and things like that. So you get the idea that it takes place, I believe it takes place in 1959 to be exact.
1959. Okay, yeah, I got the
Yeah.
1959, 1959. So it was based in Boston, I think.
Mhm.
So are the costumes going to be from that setting?
Yeah, so I'm very much in love with our costumes for this show because, so the show within a show is a Western.
Okay.
So there's a lot of Western type costumes and things like that. And then our cast is 1958, 1959. So the girls have these beautiful Audrey Hepburn type dresses that they wear throughout the show. And you get like a little like nostalgia of like I Love Lucy and that kind of stuff in there, and nice hairdos that go with that. And the gentlemen get a chance to kind of dress up in nice suits, and it's really kind of a cool experience to costume this show.
Wow, so I'm looking forward to that. I had a chance to see the rehearsals, and I didn't see the costumes, so I'm looking forward to seeing the costumes this week. And one of the things that interested me to this musical, I had to Google it, and I believe there's tap dancing, right?
There's tap. We've added ballet to this
really?
show. So there's a song that was just a simple solo, and on Broadway they just made it a simple solo. In other productions I've seen of it, it's just a simple solo, and we added a ballet to the background of it. So I have 4 very talented ballet dancers. So they do a ballet in the middle of the song, which is unique to our production. I've never seen it done before.
Oh, okay.
So I've got some great dancers. So I said, let's it's ballet. So yeah, and there's a significant tap in the show, and we have students who have never tapped before in their life learning tap. So it's been nice.
So where do they learn tap dance? Was
So-
there a professional that taught?
You know, that's The students themselves, so this year, unfortunately, our choreographer left just as the show began. She's got other things going on. So I take over as the director and the choreographer this year. But I've got a lot of my girls and boys who have been dancing for a long time. So I kind of work up a choreography for the show, and then I say to them, okay, now perfect everything I just did, and they came in and did it. So you'll see in your programs where it says choreography, it'll have my name and several students who have worked on the choreography.
Wow.
Who have just taken it up to the next level. So the ballet, I said to my 4 girls that did ballet, I said, I want a ballet right here. Let's work on something. And they were able to pick up and using the music, be able to create something.
So they've learned ballet through the local dance
Yeah,
studios
they
in
go
town?
to dance studios here in Morris.
Wow. That's another asset of...
Yeah,
of
I think a
this.
lot of my students go to Footnotes. One goes to dancing off Broadway in Alexandria. So they definitely take arts outside of just what Morris has to offer.
And this is where the community comes in. They add a little the talents and skills from the different...
Yeah,
so
yeah.
a lot of behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's really great.
Wow. So I remember I was in the play with you in Aladdin. So how do you choose the different plays each year? Do you have like a plan for next year already?
I don't have a plan. You know, I like to be a future planner, but at the same time, I like to get input from a lot of people. So, for example, with the community musical, if we're doing a musical in the spring, I'll put out a survey of a couple of shows that I really am interested in, and I've heard people mention, kind of let people vote on it. For the show here, we kind of do the same thing. I give the students the opportunity, I give the students in the pit an opportunity, what kind of music do you want to play, and then between myself and all the creative team, we sit down and look at the scores of a show and the parts of the show, and we come together and say, okay, one of these two, or so this year we were in between this show and Matilda, and so it was a close. It could have been either one. I love both of them equally, and so we ultimately chose this show because of the number of parts that students could have in the show, and I really love to give as many kids a shining moment as they can, and this show gives them the opportunity for that.
So how many students are involved in this?
Gosh, as a whole, there's over 60 some odd students
Wow, that's a
within
lot.
PIT. We've got a nice tech team this year of kids, which is great. We haven't really had a huge stage crew. So this year we have a good amount of kids in tech, and then of course the cast and the ensemble and stuff like that. So
Is this your biggest cast of all the plays you've done?
they've all been about the same size. I'm going to say we usually are around that 40 mark for the cast members, and so give or take. And it's to me, I love it when I get few students in their junior and senior year who haven't done the show before, like, I'm going to come and do the show. So we have a couple of those this year, which is really kind of nice too to see.
Wow. And that's, for the people who don't know, Joe, you have many hats. So what are your hats? You're a principal at St. Mary's.
Principal at St. Mary's. I did the musical here. I run the community theater, which we do a lot. We do most of our shows here.
Plays in Morris.
Plays in Morris. I'm on the Arts Council for the state, which is kind of a lot to deal with sometimes, which is great. And then in the summers, I am the audience services manager at Theater La Hamadou in Alexandria.
And I think I read you're also part of something in Clinton and Graceville?
I was the director of the musicals at Clinton Graceville for the past 3 years. They weren't able to find a director, and I think now they've found someone in the community, so I've let that kind of go over there. So, but I did their musicals for the past 3 years. Yeah, and I co-own the pet store in town.
Yeah, that's true. That's a plug-in for the small pet store, and they just moved in
We
Main
just moved
Street.
to a larger location. Yeah.
Wow, Joe has a lot of hats. I know he's been busy. He was very busy when I got here, so I don't want to take too much of your time. So we'll do a plug-in. When is the musical?
The musical is this Thursday, November 21st, 22nd, and 23rd at 7:30, and then Saturday the 23rd we also have a 2 o'clock. So if everybody wants to come out at night, come out during the day and see the show.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Hope you guys show up. And thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
And like many other plays, it's been great. Hope you guys can check it out. Peace.